At my family's so-called legacy celebration in Scottsdale, my older brother Caleb stood up like he'd already won, clinked his glass, and said with the biggest grin, "All 6 of Grandpa's Arizona rentals are officially mine." Sorry, Emma. Guess you'll be cheering from the sidelines. The room exploded. Applause. Whistles. Someone yelled, "That's our guy!" His fiancée, Madison, squeezed his arm like she just hit the jackpot. I didn't clap. I looked at my dad and said calmly, "You forgot to check the county records, didn't you?" And just like that, the party flatlined. Before I tell you how that single sentence wrecked everything they thought they owned, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. And hit like if you've ever had a family smile in your face while quietly planning to cut you out. Because what happened next? Nobody in that room saw it coming. My name's Emma Lawson. If you saw our Christmas cards, you'd think we were the American dream. Big house in Scottsdale. Summer trips to Lake Havasu. Matching outfits every December. But inside that house, there was a ranking system. And Caleb was always number 1. Star quarterback, stayed local. Helping Grandpa with the rentals. Translation, collecting checks and calling himself a businessman. Meanwhile, I got a full ride to the University of Colorado. Dad's reaction? Guess somebody's gotta leave home. So I did. Denver changed me. I started working in commercial real estate, learned contracts, learned trusts, learned one very important rule. Paper beats feelings. Every time. The only person who ever truly saw me was Grandpa Walter. He'd sit on his porch in Sedona, drinking black coffee, asking me about cap rates like I was explaining football stats. He never compared me to Caleb. He just listened. 3 years ago, everything shifted. Grandpa called me and said, "Kid, I need your brain this weekend." When I got there, he had 2 folders waiting. The first one, bank statements. Over $280,000 missing from rental income, listed under maintenance. Funny thing, the receipts looked like they were written by someone guessing how invoices work. Caleb's handwriting. Grandpa didn't yell. He didn't cry. He just said, "I gave him responsibility." He treated it like a credit card. Then he opened the second folder. A living trust. 6 quitclaim deeds. All transferring ownership, quietly, to me. Already drafted. Just needed signatures and a notary. I asked him why. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "Because you protect assets. He performs for applause." Let that sink in. We signed that Monday. Recorded everything with the county. Nobody knew. Grandpa made me swear not to say a word unless someone tried to take what wasn't theirs. I promised. And for 3 years, I stayed quiet. Fast forward 2 months ago. Grandpa passes. At the funeral, Caleb gives a speech about carrying the legacy forward. I almost laughed. A week later, my parents call a family meeting. They slide a paper across the table. "Just sign this waiver saying you don't expect any share of the rentals." I read the title, Waiver of Property Interest. I slid it back. "I'm not signing that." Dad's voice dropped into that old warning tone. "Don't make this hard." I said, "I'm not the one making it hard." That was the first crack in their perfect plan. Then came the invitation. Celebration of Walter Lawson's legacy. Catered. Champagne. Extended family invited. This wasn't a meeting. It was a coronation. They thought Caleb already owned everything. So I packed a suitcase. Inside, copies of every recorded deed, the trust, the notary acknowledgement, color-coded tabs. Because if you're going to drop a bomb, bring receipts. Back to Scottsdale. Backyard tent. Bartender. Tenants invited like it was some kind of PR stunt. Caleb stands up, raises his glass. As of today, All 6 rentals are officially under my name. Applause erupts. I wait. Then I roll my suitcase to the coffee table. Click. Open. I lay out the first deed, then the second, then all 6. County stamps visible, then the trust. Highlighted, and I say, "You really didn't check public records?" Silence. The family attorney flips pages. "These are recorded 3 years ago." He clears his throat. "Emma Lawson is the legal owner of record." You could hear someone drop a fork. Caleb explodes. "This is fake!" The attorney shakes his head. "It's airtight." And then, plot twist. My younger brother Nate, who barely ever speaks at gatherings, says, "I drove Grandpa to the notary. I knew." That's when the room shattered. Mom crying. Dad sitting down hard like his knees gave out. Caleb yelling about betrayal. I stayed calm. Grandpa protected his tenants and his legacy. I'm just honoring it. Madison quietly slipped her engagement ring off, left without saying a word. That part? Not gonna lie, poetic. 3 months later, Caleb's facing an IRS audit. Turns out writing off Vegas trips as property inspections isn't genius-level strategy. My parents sold the lake house. Caleb now sells used trucks in Mesa. I hired a female-led management company in Phoenix. Tenants pay the same rent. Repairs actually get done. Vacancies dropped. Peace gained. I bought 2 more properties in Colorado. No drama, no applause, just numbers that make sense. Sometimes I sit on my Denver balcony and think about the girl who was told she'd be fine without it. They were right. I am fine. Because I learned something powerful. Family loyalty without accountability is just emotional manipulation. And paperwork? Paperwork doesn't lie. Grandpa told me one last thing before he passed. "Kid, people clap for confidence, but they respect contracts." He was right. If you've ever had to choose between keeping the peace and protecting yourself, drop your city in the comments. And if this story hit home, smash that like button and subscribe. Because I've got more real-life stories about money, betrayal, and playing the long game coming your way. Remember, never argue with emotion when you can respond with evidence. See you in the next one.